if you possibly can, because it's always wonderful to be able to bring a bit of music and fresh music to the programme. So let's, without any further ado, say hello and welcome back to wonderful singer-songwriter Debbie Manus, who's joined us on Facebook Live. So get in there. Hello, Debbie, how are you?
Hey, Phil, I'm great.
You're sitting opposite me, but in a different way to normal.
Yeah, you have butterflies. I have backdrop.
Wonderful. Well, what's cooking? I mean, okay, you've done 2 releases this year, which I will get onto in just a minute, but what else, apart from the obvious?
You know, working from home practically the entire half year, more than 9 months.
Nearly a year, yeah.
And that's been interesting, exciting, lots of work happening. But it's also allowed me to think more about, what else besides music is there that I can contribute to.
Oh.
So I've started an online magazine, e-zine, called I'm More Than a Cover for young girls. I noticed that there was a gap in the market, and there's a lot of mental issues and anxiety that young girls go through, and there's no one magazine that actually addresses this. So I started I'm More Than a Cover, and it's online, and our first issue went live on the 1st of September. So that was super.
What kind of things, example-wise, would you be getting into in this?
So a few weeks, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, there was a couple of photographs, pictures doing the rounds on Facebook. And it actually came from 2016, where there's this magazine called, which I won't say the name of, but it had a magazine cover of this young girl, preteen, beautifully done hair and makeup and eyes, and it talked about her girl squad and her genes and her, everything else besides what a girl could be to empower her. And so apparently a graphic artist and a mother saw this magazine cover, and she was so appalled she drew another magazine cover.
Okay.
Of a girl who had just won some Google award and talked about her dreams and this and that, and then when I saw these two juxtaposed, I thought, wow, that's interesting. This is another magazine for young girls, but it wasn't. It was a cover. So, but where's the magazine? And then I asked people, and there wasn't one. So I thought, okay, so I'll start one. And so I did it. I'm More Than a Cover, and we've had lots and lots of interest. Our first cover girl has won the keys to the city. She's in Pittsburgh. Her name is Ananya. She's designed at the age of 16 or 17 a prosthetic arm for lepers in India. She has an app called Anemone for depressed and suicidal young teenagers, and she has a day named after her in Pittsburgh.
It's crazy. And all of this because you were forced to kind of stay in.
Well,
sort of.
Come on. It gets me thinking, right, about you're not traveling to and from work, and there's so much you can do sitting at home. There's a lot that we've been doing in my evening calls and all of that, but there's this other space that makes you think, wow, there are things happening in this world, and the mental issues because of people staying at home and being deprived of people's company, and you just go beyond. And I know a lot of young girls who are going through so much angst right now. Yeah. So.
And that was just one thing. Do you think you might have done this if you weren't kind of forced to, in a way? Was it in your head?
It was in my head because we've been, I'm an alum of the Women's Foundation to build women leaders in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
But that is for working with. Now these are young girls, and my son is 14, and he has a lot of friends who are young girls who are going through some of this, this angst, and I've been noticing that. So for me, it was just like a one of those things that just kicks it off. Seeing these two together.
Whatever it takes. Also, what do you think you've learned in the music business about producing and whatever?
It's these last 2 years have been an eye-opener. It's been a lot of fun, but it's been a lot of hard work, juggling work and juggling creative people who I have both those sides, so I understand how the creative process works as well. But also understanding that um, mu- I'm I'm not the most important thing to musicians and to anybody, right? So having people make time to come into the studio or to work with me creatively and all of and want to be part of this has been uh, given me all kinds of different skills.
Yeah. It's amazing. I've talked to lots of people who, okay, it's been a rubbish year and it continues to be, but they've kind of made something really good. They've made something good out of it, right?
Yes, yes. I think the music industry is bleeding.
Yeah,
The music
sure.
industry is in deep pain, and my heart hurts actually for my musician friends, especially the full-time ones. And I know that Chris was on the show and she talked about it, and she's doing a lot in that
Sure.
space to bring awareness. But from where I'm sitting, there's some terrible things that have happened, and there are things that I am so grateful for that have also happened.
Good. Well, the balance you seem to have in your head very well. Let's talk about one of these really good things. Your second single of the year, Stars in My Eyes. Tell us all we need to know about it, and then I'll play it. How's that?
All we need to know, yes. So I wrote that for my dad,
Oh, yeah.
who was long gone. I mean, he died really young. He died when he was 53. But we were four daughters. He didn't have any sons. And he's this very emancipated, very progressive man. I mean, one of those really curious people who knew everything about everything. And he was more ambitious for his four daughters than most dads, or even all the women I knew in my life. And my mom is a particularly strong woman too. But I don't think he limited us to anything. We never had the conversation about girls need to be doing this or girls need to be doing that. Or,
Sure.
He bought me my first guitar at 11. He would take me for sports early, 6 o'clock.
He wanted a boy. You do realise that, right?
I kept hearing this, you are the boy we never had. You are the boy we never had. Because I would climb ladders and hammer nails and chop wood and go into the workshop and solder stuff and do all kinds of things and dig worms for his fishing trips. And he would never say what. I was never even given 1 second to ponder that I was a girl and this was not my role.
Okay.
And we never discussed things like you get any of us getting married or kids or, these were not the conversations we had in our family. We had discuss things like politics and what was wrong in the world. And, my sister from 4 wanted to be a doctor, and so she is now.
Yeah, well, it couldn't be better. I mean, the least you can do is write the guy a song, right?
Yes, so I wrote the song.
Shall we have a listen? Before we do, tell me who's on this, if you want to say hi to anybody.
Who's on?
Yeah,
You know what? Who's on which? Oh, who's on the
track? Your song, the one we're about to hear.
I wrote it, and of course I don't go many places without my fantastic music director Anya Skew.
Yeah.
And so we both put our heads together and came up with this. It's got a more modern sort of R&B sort of vibe.
Okay.
But with my style of singing. The guitarist is a well-known guitarist. His name is Quincy Aranas.
Okay.
Aranas. I pronounced that right. And it's just basically the three of us. Agnes did the voices. So that's another amazing thing that we've had to do, work out whatever we could in our homes and pass wave files to and fro.
Of course, that's a brilliant thing.
So the studio is a professional. I went into a professional studio and got it done.
Yep. Let's have a listen. Shall we join us on Facebook Live if you've got a minute? Debbie Manus, right now on Radio 3, Stars in My Eyes.
Parched and dry, sad. grateful come the way I feel when in your arms. I can feel you watching me. That's all it takes for me to know I have the strength to weather this, and I dare the winds to blow. You saw the stars in my eyes, you saw the dreams in my heart, you saw right through my disguise, you were my guide in the dark. You saw the stars in my eyes, you were my light in the cloud, made me believe in myself so I could see through the volcanic ashes rain down, red lava spits up from the ground, the earth crumbles unto itself, the heavens crash, black holes are born, yet through destruction and disaster, the unkindness of what must be, I remember now and after the faith you always had in me. You saw the stars in my eyes, you saw the dreams in my heart, you saw right through my disguise, you were my guide in the dark. You saw the stars in my eyes, you were my light in the cloud, made me believe in myself so I could see through the fog, see through the fog, through the fog. You saw the stars in my eyes, you saw the dreams in my heart, you saw right through my disguise, you were my guide in the dark. You saw the stars in my eyes, you were my light in the cloud, made me believe in myself so I could see through the fog.
Stars in My Eyes, sung beautifully by Debbie Manus and friends, I guess I should say. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing it with us this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime. Live music, always welcome. Well, kind of, you know what I mean. Music from Hong Kong people, always welcome. Very briefly, what's next? Or do you just not know yet?
I said that I'm going to do about 4 releases a year.
Well,
So
get
hopefully
cracking.
another, get cracking on them.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you in a few weeks. Goodness me, I mean, this is the time of year when everybody goes, oh, did you know it's nearly Christmas? Well, they're right, in a way.
I know. It's just crazy.
Crazy. Let's leave it there, Debbie. Thank you so much for coming. The album... Oh, tell us where people can find it online and your other work, if you would.
Sure. I'm on Spotify and iTunes and all of it. Look for Deborah, Deborah.
Yep.
And there are many Deborah, so you could add in Deborah Stars in My Eyes and you'll find it.
Piece of cake.
And of course, Facebook, Deborah